Hi everybody, this is Anthony Striglia with Striglia Enterprises. Today we're going to pick up where we left off with adding this drop-down sales order status to our screen, and we're going to go and put this field on the PDF report. So if we print this, we have a custom field on the screen, but we do not have that on the PDF report. If you are going to be using these PDF reports, whether to send them in an email to a customer, to save them to your server or whatever, however you use your file management, or just simply to print them out and have these updated with the fields that you've added, I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing you have to do, and this is true for pretty much any button on the screen or any logic, is you have to figure out what report this actually is. So I'm going to jump into this customized screen viewer here, and I'm going to leave this published. We don't need to actually create a draft for this. We just want to go to this print button, and we want to see what report this is calling. So this is calling printable sales order QBO. Okay. I think this link has been broken for a little bit, but we're just going to go into the report designer the other way. Yeah, that link is broken. That's a bug right now, but that's okay. I don't like going through that way anyway. So we're going to go create a copy of that and then modify it. So we're going to go into account settings, reports and print templates, and we're going to go to sales order QBO. That stands for QuickBooks Online. So this is the report that that button is calling. So let's duplicate this. And anytime I work in an environment and make reports, I like to do this. Put my, just so that that shows up at the top of the list. I'm going to save this. The parentheses is the reason that it shows up at the top of the list, but then I like to have SE on some of my reports so that they show up here. And then if I'm modifying a report or doing some complex modifications, I'll even make a V2, V3 of this just so that I can work on it and not mess up what I know works in production. So I'm going to launch the builder of this, and this is the report builder. Um, Lots of stuff to cover in here that I'm not going to cover today. We're just going to add this field, and then I'm going to show you another report that um, is really nicely a nice demonstration of kind of what's possible in the report builder. So I'm gonna add a. I don't know if this is its own. If this is one table. Yeah. Okay. This is one table. So I'm gonna add a field to that, and then I'm going to do this so that those all go to the same width, and then we're going to put in status. And where I'm putting this on the screen doesn't really matter. You could put this anywhere you really wanted. You could put it down in this group header next to PO. Actually, let's do that. I like that better. So again, click onto a field. We're going to add a row, and then we're going to highlight the whole table and make them even. And then let's delete this row, and let's make this smaller again about where it was, and then let's make these even again. So there we go. We got to see a bunch of different stuff happen. So, okay. Let's see. So this is just a static text box. This is going to end up being the field. So what we have to do, the easiest way to do it is to come into this field list over here and pull down pull down the sales order. And what you have to understand is that on the detail lines here, that's going through the sales order lines in this particular report, especially here in this detail one band. And then, so you have to put any sales order fields in the group or page header or margins, which you shouldn't use. You can. I use them in certain situations. But if you want the sales order field to a field that's on the sales order, not on the sales order line table, to show up properly, you have to put them in one of the sections that are using other fields from the sales order line table, basically, is the easiest way to describe it. So we're going to come down here and grab this sales order status. We want the sales order status, record ID status. So this is these naming, we could have done better naming these, but we want the sales order status, record ID status, and this is a text field, so you can see we don't want the record IDs, their numbers, we want the text. So I'm just going to drag that into this field. And that's it. That's as easy as it is to add a field to the table. There's lots of other stuff you can do in here. You can make stuff dynamic. You can make stuff show up when certain parameters are met or not met. Um, I can show you an example of a few of those in the report I'm going to show you when we're done with this. But that's how easy it is to just add a field on a report to show up all the time. So let's go run that again. And you'll see that oh, actually we have to do one more thing. So why didn't this work? This didn't work because we are calling this same printable sales order report, and we just created the SE printable sales order. Okay, so we're still calling the old report. That's a great tip if you can't figure out why the report you just modified isn't working. So there's two ways to do this. The first way is to customize this screen and change what report's being called. We are not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So that would be here, and change this in a draft screen. Change this to SE printable sales order. But the more proper way to do it, especially on apps that are native to a method that you didn't build from scratch, is to go to Manage App and then go to, nope, sorry. We want to go to the dashboard and go to Sales Order Preferences. And then we have a default print template. This will override the printable sales order QBO. So we want SE printable sales order. See, that shows up in this list now of reports that use the sales order table. So we're going to change that default print template to SE printable sales order and save it. Now let me show you why that works. I know I said it, but I'm going to show you. So in this print button, it still says printable sales order QBO, but it overrides the report with the result default print template. So basically what it does is it goes and grabs that from the preferences table, and it says default template sales order display, and it grabs it and assigns it to result default print template. So what that's doing, when we went and changed that preference in the preferences screen, we basically changed this record in this preferences table, and now this record returns SE printable sales order. So even though this still says printable sales order QBO, we're overriding it with SE printable sales order due to the fact that we changed it in the preferences. Okay, so now if we print this, we should get the new field on that report. And there it is, status pending approval. These are stacked on top of each other. We could probably make this look a little nicer. There's a lot of visual things that you can do within this report builder. So with that being said, I'm going to show you an example of a report that has been modified. We're probably on version 6. I'm not really sure. Oh, we'll look at that, version 6. But this has been heavily modified. This is an estimate, but same idea. And here's an example of some of those dynamic fields that I was talking about. So this is project number and project name, installation address. These only show up if those things exist. If they don't exist, it just takes this whole bill to ship to contact header and just bumps it up closer to this, basically where this project line is. It just gets rid of all this white space. Okay. Ship to, bill to, contact, custom field here, contact. Rev date, contact. Rev date is custom. Ship via, pretty sure that's custom. Terms we just moved around. Here, general notes. So this is a good one. This is general notes, and then I've seen these take up almost half a page, right? So we have something that you can type in on the screen of the estimate, and then it prints out on the report. Okay, so just an example visually of what you can do with some custom pictures, some headers, CSR, sales rep, project manager, all custom fields up here. Shading, borders, you can make this stuff look really pretty. PO number, nothing in there right now, which, something like this, we could just turn this off if there's not a PO number. I believe the concept of not turning this off was that we want it to be apparent that there is not a PO number in our possession. We don't have a PO number from the customer. So we opted to leave this blank if it's blank and still show the PO number um, title. So again, just an example of what's totally possible, but that's the quick and dirty of adding a field to a PDF report. Thanks for watching.